Well, hello people, and welcome back to episode 23 of Rannoch, our vanilla Boreal build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And you joined me at the tram transport hub that was that last episode, and this street has become possibly my favourite in the whole city. There's a real nice sight line down here, great asset selection, lots and lots of cycling of course. And you guys join me again on the very precipice of 25 tiles. I was hoping it would have ticked over during my intro, but alas, it never works out, does it? Either way, there has been some amend to the city, which we'll run over before we get started in today's episode. Residential frames have grown out this way, and also Ashby Gardens has grown out a good old chunk on the edge of the stadium district here with all the green cities on wall to wall, which has been a nice little skyline formed outside of the green cities now, which I think is quite nice. Kind of a mini little high rise, isn't it? And then all this is growing out this way. There's some commercial around here too, with a park and a medical centre with some car parking behind it. So just to help fill those existing frames and residential demands is all slowly coming together. And in today's episode, when we hit the last milestone, come on, you can do it. You can do it. 6 more people. There we go. Finally. Wonderful. So there we go. We have hit, organically, I think, for the first time in a vanilla city, 25 tile boundary. So this map only has 60k as its max population for Megalopolis, which is incredibly exciting. So if you are following along on the regular console version of City Skylines, your 9 tile build will end in this configuration. You can continue to fill it out. However, for those on the PC and on the remastered edition of City Skylines for consoles, you do have access to 25 tiles, which is what we're going to unlock here. And this is going to open up a whole bunch of space for us. So let's have a look exactly what's going to change here. So all of our downtown space is available. This whole coastline can now be developed into our city centre, which will be a real fun episode. We'll do a road network frame around here beforehand. All this side of the map is open to us. The dam project is now available over here as well, which will be a lot of fun. This whole area can be developed too. Slightly we'll do a cargo harbour, yeah, alongside some more high density to match the downtown. And then over here, which is where I think we'll spend a bunch of today's episode, is going to be fun with the arterials and the deltas over here. So we've got a plan to bring across a big arterial bundle, trams, metro and road. And then I also want to rework how the highway flows around here too. We won't be able to fully rework our highway because we have tile boundary just blocking us here. But either way, today we will open and prepare 25 tiles and we'll get started with our big arterial bundle, shall we? This has been a project long in the waiting. So let's prepare 25 tiles for Rannoch, shall we? Big moment for the series, everyone. So the first project I want to address is the highway. This is occupying some really kind of prime real estate. It's right on the edge of the waterfront. And now my plan is eventually to kind of have it wrap up or alongside the train line. But for right now, we're going to have to just bring it up against its tile boundary and knock it back. But eventually, it will kind of come from here. So let's just time lapse up this and we'll hopefully find some new space for this highway to lie. Sweet, so that opens up a ton more land for us to build around. Now, as I mentioned, this will eventually go more this direction to meet up with the split. But for right now, the 821 tile boundary does stop us. But we'll prepare that in a much future episode. So now let's talk about the Arterial bundle. Long awaited project for the city. So this is going to be a big, kind of thick network of roads that elevates over the delta in a very dramatic fashion. And we need to kind of talk about the configuration. So we have metro, road, and two roads and a tram to feed through this. So let's kind of find a nice area where we're willing to cross over. Now I'm imagining they're going to come down here into a likely airport build around here too. So we're going to be approaching from this way. So I think I'll have it pass over the highway here, swing around, and then come back down here in some fashion, is what I'm imagining, but let's see how this works out. So let's start from right to left. Let's bring in our cycling road here. Now I'm going to go for a 12-meter elevation, and let's go for pretty much around here. One of these roads out, so we have something that looks a little bit like that. And now we'll kind of do this in segments, so this is going to be our first one, our elevated cycling road. Now next to this, we're going to have our metro, so let's go ahead and grab a section of metro track. We'll grab this one here. So with this section of metro, I'd like to match the same road guidelines as the road here. But I'm going to put the metro slightly higher, I think, than the road itself. Now I'm thinking maybe we could even put it on the outside. I think it'd be cool to see them maybe in between the roads. I guess we can always cross it over later, can't we? I guess we'll see. And then with our tram roads, we are going to be using... There is a one-way tram track, but yeah, I think I'll keep the road separate. So we want two-way tram track for this. Now I think we're going to have this at a slightly different elevation. Let's change our step here. So the metro is 18. Why don't we have the tram as 15? Which will be slightly more sunken than the metro line. I think that's what I want. I'd rather have the tram a little bit lower and have the metro as the highest network. Then once we have that done, we can come back to our 12 elevation, which of course is the road. And then we'll keep this going something to that extent, I think. So that's going to be the pattern for our arterial bundle as it passes over the delta. And then we'll probably bring the tram back down to the ground, as the metro will probably snake off and eventually arrive at the airport metro station, which is elevated, isn't it? If I can remind myself of it, it's here somewhere. Yeah, so the elevated airport metro station is what will feed into an airport over here, which will probably be the regional airport, I think. I'm not sure where we're going to put the international complex. Maybe over here. Got a lot of space to fill there. But an airport might be quite nice over that way. But either way, that seems pretty tremendous. Still got this stupid turnaround here? Yes, we do, don't we? Are you really backing up? Can we actually delete you yet? Sort of. We still need to open this tile to expand this arterial, which, by the way, will link up to another highway interchange here, thus taking further pressure off of everything else, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I think I'm pretty happy with this configuration. Let's go ahead and time-lapse up the arterial bundle, and then we'll watch it flow together, which should be a tremendously exciting moment for the city. So we have our arterial bundle now flowing over the highway, or over the river. It looks pretty awesome, especially around this bend over here. Look at that tearing. Isn't that great? This has made me incredibly excited. It is a little bit kind of discount Teddy Radko, kind of, you know, Mum, can we get Teddy Radko? And she says, no, we have Teddy Radko at home. This is Teddy Radko at home. But I like it. I really love it. Super cool kind of tiered arterial bundle spanning over as it kind of kicks out as they crisscross over. I've also chucked in a metro station down here as well. Of course, just so we can watch the train flow. There's only a few people getting off for some reason. I don't know why, because they're getting the train back. Of course. Why else? But that is a tremendous amount of fun. And it's alright, there's a couple of little lumps and bumps just with the vanilla kind of toggle. You can kind of see something where it dips down a tiny bit, but I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely working in shorter segments. It seems to help it quite a lot. There's a tiny little dip there as well. But in the grand scheme of the project, that looks pretty awesome. I'm really happy with it. I had to relocate the highway ever so slightly. It was really in the way. So, especially on this little island here now, we have tons of networks passing by each other. Now this right here could be one of my favourite views in the city. The metro passes back over the road. Imagine when we get things over here as well, we've got people cycling across that. Truly a wonderful time to be alive, I think, everyone. And then it passes back down into the city over here, where it previously ended like 15 episodes ago. So it's finally come to fruition. I've just been thinking, with the highway, I think I'm actually just gonna pop a couple of tiles, because 25 tile people won't be able to get these tiles anyway, because this is your new kind of limit. So I think just for the sake of connecting in these roads here, I thought while we're doing 25 tile prep, we might as well also get these done as well. I think that's what we'll do. So I'm going to get 1, 2, and 3 tiles here. I'm going to get all of them. And then we can carry on our road prep here today. So let's turn our attention over this way. Thank goodness we can finally do this now. So let's remove this dirt road here. We'll just bring that there so we know to connect the forestry back in. And then we've got a little bit of more terraforming work to do here now, haven't we? With the deltas. So again, I'm sorry to move into yet another time lapse, but it is time lapse city today. So let's probably put on the Mass Effect theme tune and watch our water flow, shall we? Fantastic. So the deltas are flowing again. Let's now arrange for our arterial to pass over the rivers. In terms of the path it's going to take, we do have elevated rail here, so I think we'll keep this elevated because it's likely we're going to need to bring a road underneath it at some point. So let's create the embankment. This can carry on for the foreseeable. And I think around the delta here, I'm also going to trim a couple of contour lines off. Now I reckon we'll also throw in a couple of Teddy's interchanges today as well for the first time. We haven't yet used them in the series, which will be a tremendous amount of fun. Cool, so let's also rework the highway project here as well. We can definitely afford to have this curve up a little bit more now. So this is much more what I had in mind for the splitting of the highways here. Now really opens up this estate here. See how much room we're saving where the traffic used to flow, which is great news for us. And then with this road here, finally another way to alleviate pressure off of existing infrastructure, everyone. And we'll just flow straight across the delta here. Happy with that. This can carry all the way through. And we'll probably just go in a pretty straight trajectory, I imagine. Let's also not forget to add a road connection back in for the forestry. And this gives us so much more buildable room. I'm also very happy we don't really need to worry about tile boundaries anymore. So with this one here, I did cut out another layer for it to arrive at, didn't I? So let's make sure it also arrives at that here. We'll worry about that train connection in a second. And that's actually pretty alright. I'm fairly happy with that. Let's go ahead and throw on our topography view. And you will come this way. So let's have a look at Teddy's interchanges and see what we want here. So we're just after a little service interchange. But there's so much choice. What on earth? What on earth do we go for? It's a system interchange and really just after more of a service number, aren't I? Let's do... I think the first one we looked at, the Dogbone interchange actually. And we can connect it in here. So let's just take away the stuff right here. Sorry for rebuilding these highways about 40 times today. But it'll be worth it. Look at that, isn't Teddy Radko just a beautiful human being with fantastic character? I think we can just shorten out a node there, can't we? And then with these, let's feed them both up a little bit. And then we'll do their curve road back in, although I'm not massively happy with that one. There we go. That's more like it. And then that should see us through. I think I'm going to change the entrance roads here because this is going to be eventually home to an airport. I think we can preempt with a large road. So I think we'll do 6-lane tree lined. Maybe not this side though. I think maybe let's just keep this side quite discreet. Have it like that. And then let's rework how our networks flow here. So we'll create a little slope up there. It's not an enormous gradient, but we'll respect it regardless. And then this can come all the way down. And then we can probably just do road guideline and a curve connection in there. And then for this one, although it doesn't exist right now, the road structure around here will definitely, of course, change and evolve over time. But we'll just feed these all the way down. This culprit system is going to form a really important part of the road infrastructure over here. I reckon we might do the airport next episode now we have this in. And then we'll have this big arterial come down, connect in, and then meet up with the culprit systems here. And that gives us at least some initial road infrastructure. Let's also go ahead and get that rail connected back in as well. This is such an exciting episode today. I always feel with the network episodes, I know you guys really enjoy them, but I do feel like I talk a lot without really saying anything, if that makes sense. But I know we all enjoy the network episodes, so... And today's one has been one very, very, very longly awaited. So let's bring this down to Earth. That should connect rather nicely, actually. It will indeed. Let's throw our topography view back on again. And then we can just tidy up some terrain. And that gives us a bridge, which I think we're finally ready to hit play. And then we can watch all these networks move around. Which is so cool. We can watch a tram come up over the new bridge. Oh, look at that. On the metro. Quite an interesting visualization of how fast all the different networks move, isn't it? There we go, and this will only become increasingly and more busy as time goes on. People are already using the new interchange here. Absolutely wonderful. Already taken that direction, which is great. Also, all this is going to serve to take pressure off of this internal highway. Now people can come off much sooner. Very nice. Possible even justification for another interchange here. It gets very busy, but I think we'll just wait and see to do that. Also, something really interesting of note as well is look how many oil trucks are now coming down the bridge out of the oil refinery rather than fighting their way through town centre here, because we had so much industrial traffic coming down this road, but now they have another way to go. So, great example of all that pressure lifting across the highway networks. I could stare at this bridge all day. Should we have a little look at it at night? Hopefully it's got very cool vibes indeed. Look at that. Love how it just passes across this kind of pitch black delta. Real expanse of the networks there, isn't it? Tremendous amounts of fun, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed that today. A project many of us have been waiting for. I think before we move into a road detailing and tidying time-lapse, we will possibly introduce another one of Teddy's interchanges over here. Now we have this available to us. I think if we need to add some industrial demand, or we can do the cargo port beforehand as well. Although I think I'd rather wait until the downtown is in before we do the main cargo harbour. Is that another interchange over here? So let's have a look which ones we can use. The Diverging Diamond is very tasty. I'd like to use this one. And also its bridges are tunneled as well, so I feel like that would be a cool vibe to have coming out of the main bridge into a tunnel. There's so much choice. I just don't know which one to use. My gut feeling says Diverging Diamond, so let's do this one here. We'll just delete this entire straight segment. They're actually very easy to install as well, which I'm a huge fan of. Let's snap it onto this road here. 90-degree angle, that looks pretty workable. You also get some slight terrain layering as well, which I'm quite happy for. And then a little curve in there, that should see that through. And maybe actually we can just re-slope this while the Diverging Diamond is slightly recessed. I just want to make sure that terrain isn't sponsored by jank as it comes out. So let's have these two in here. And then we can flip them around. Fabulous. So another fantastic example of Teddy's interchanges. Quite honestly, even if you're not a fan of the maps, which you should be, these ploppable interchanges for vanilla alone is a reason to get that map pack. They have been long overdue. And would you look at that? A pristine vanilla interchange courtesy of Teddy Radko. Fantastic. So we can hook in our cargo harbours into here and an eventual major expanse. And that'll be it. Dam project soon as well, maybe. We have just built a massive power plant, so we'll probably save the dam for a little ways down the road. Look at that view to Rannoch. Isn't it growing? So much fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed today's episode, everyone, but let's move into what is likely to be a relatively small time lapse as we tidy up a new jank that has developed as the networks have expanded. And we also lost some housing around here as well, so tidy all this up. And then just make sure everyone's happy and arranged over here. Change the trees out, add the patterns over here, and maybe plan out some light road expansions ready for probably an airport next episode. I think we're 23 episodes into the series now and we don't have an airport. The scratch is getting more intense by the minute. Either way, let's do some road detailing and then we'll be right back. roads, let's have a look over the final Arterial bundle, shall we? Which has just turned out so fabulously. Bit of trickiness trying to get all the gradients smooth. There's still maybe a little bit of steepness knocking about, but overall, the project turned out wonderfully. Down at the bottom, we have some fencing to stop people kind of wandering into the infrastructure, if you like, with overgrowth and lots of trees around it. And then all the roads pass up and over here into a really, really nice collection, especially this viewpoint here, with kind of the tiered public transport in between the couplet. This has got to be one of my favourite, like, ever infrastructure projects we've done across any city. I know, like, Palaven's Ring Road was up there, but this is just so much fun to watch. See there? Look at that. Isn't that cool? Just, I love a layer, and this is ultimate network layering. The roads are starting to get a little bit of use, especially on the way out, of course. When things exist over this side, they will start to use the other direction. And as the networks kind of snap back to align with the roads over here, same vibes again, bit of fencing and plenty of overgrowth underneath these networks. As they then come into a little bit of a commercial hub, just sketched out some very basic detailing around the station, just so we have some purpose over here to help the roads make a little bit busier, so we can kind of show off the flow here. These roads, especially this industrial road, will eventually come into Rannoch's regional airport, which is probably going to be next episode, I think. And in preparation for that, we've also drawn in a national rail line so we can accept both trains and metro into the airport, which will be a lot of fun. Should make it incredibly busy, especially since this metro line now runs all the way, you'll see it in the end cinematic, but all the way through here. And we'll cross the river as well. So crazy busy metro all coming through here. Satisfying watch all these networks come down now, isn't it? So this is over here. Very nice indeed. Simple tables, fountains, the mall from the Railroad of Japan stuff. And then we've also got a pedestrian tram road in here as well, just to highlight a stop. Trams are getting pretty much no use at the minute, but I don't expect them to. Why there's nothing over here. We'll eventually feed this tram off into the suburb to formulate possibly around another stadium or a mall or whatever it is we choose to build out here. So that's all wonderful. And I just love it. I really love the snap back as it comes on to join up the highest elements. I think when you're building something like this without move it, doing it in short segments and make sure all your heights are aligned is definitely the way to go. Kind of difficult crossing the water, but keep the game paused. You can see we've got a slight bow in the road there. But with the grand scheme of things, you can't really tell. But keeping the game paused over water, otherwise your bridges are going to bob up and down as the water level changes. So keep it all paused would be my advice for building something massive like this. But I love it. I really, really like it. The highway now comes over here. Again, potential future interchange here. We'll see what happens with the road frames and as to how well this dog bone can also handle it. But for the time being, it's flowing like a dream. Another roundabout in here as well, just to help preempt some larger traffic surges that come down here once the airport exists. And then this national rail line joins up over here, so we can accept intercity trains. It is both directions, so we could bring another train line down possibly from this station as an express to the airport, which might be quite fun. We probably do have the capacity here because we've got a bypass station, so it can get quite busy. And there's also another turn off there as well, so we'll see exactly just how much public transport the airport needs, but we have given ourselves the capacity to have national rail through this district as well. And that's of course going to join up and run parallel with the metro as they kind of curve around and come into the terminal here. So that's an incredibly exciting project. The road frames around here have just joined up with this road over here, just so we can begin to sketch out what's going to happen against this waterfront. Possibly even another kind of mini downtown here. I think it definitely would justify it against the waterfront here. We've got a ton of shoreline to work with. So let me know if you have any ideas for builds over this way. Besides the airport, I haven't really planned out too much yet. So if you have anything to suggest, this is the episode to leave it in the comments. And then down here now, this arterial road is getting quite a bit of use down to the forestry area, which of course is all taking pressure off of these arterial systems as people discover more ways in and out of the city. So seeing everything just get much more smooth now, and it's just awesome to see. Been waiting to connect these roads in for a long time. And it's opened up tons of buildable space for us here as well. And then we also have our Virgin Diamond over here as well, which we placed in, which obviously doesn't have a connection on it at the minute yet. But it does allow us to start developing this side of the map, which I think is going to be much more kind of high-dense industry. Our cargo harbour is likely going to go here in this bay to mirror the downtown skyline. So plenty of factories and more high-density industry around this way. And of course the dam project is also now available to us, which will be a tremendous amount of fun to build, won't it? If it works, that is. We'll see how easy that is to convert without anarchy on. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a pain. But a big moment for the city. Rannoch now opens into a 25 tile project with plenty of network expansion in store and some more airports in the pipeline as well. But otherwise I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. Big shout out to the patrons that support the channel, with a roll call to Andrew Perez and Oregxina. If you want to get involved in that, there's podcasts, early access, previews, and a wonderful little community to be had over on the Patreon. And don't forget to check out the instant gaming link if you're missing any of the DLCs I might have used today. You can get them for pennies on instant gaming now, and it does help support the channel. And like I mentioned, don't forget to get those ideas for what you want to see this side of the River Delta beyond the airport. I've no concrete plans yet, so if you want to influence me, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all again so much for watching and continuing to support City Skylines 1 content on the channel. I am possibly more in love with Rannoch than I've ever been after today's episode. This Arterial bundle is just my favourite. I really, really like it. And Skyline, not too far away. Let's do the downtown road network frame first, but we'll leave a few episodes in between a couple of road network episodes. I don't really want too many back to back. But I'll shut up rambling. Enjoy the cinematics. Well, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.